Hey everybody, welcome back to this hyperrealistic drawing series. We're at episode 7 now. We're on the home stretch. I was gonna do a really long last part of it was gonna be about 45 minutes, but I thought that might be a little bit too long, so I'm gonna separate this last part into two. So this is gonna be episode 7, and then I'll release the final part not long after. So we are coming to a close on this piece. I'm pretty excited on it. As you can see, there's not that much left, which is great because then I get to move on to the next thing, which I'm happy about. I've also been finding it a little bit difficult to find things to talk about in this in terms of like tips or what I'm doing, just because I've talked through, I don't know, 6 parts before and described everything that I'm doing, and I'm basically just doing the exact same thing. But I did get a question on Instagram, I believe it was, about how I do my black backgrounds. So I thought I would talk a little bit about that. So from what I've heard, a lot of people tend to have a hard time getting your background really dark and to not show as many pencil marks. So what I found that works for me is, one, you have to find a really good charcoal that is really dark that works for you. So for me, I use the Faber-Castell Pit charcoal, and I find that one is super black and very smooth. And so what I do is I do a base layer that I use a cotton ball to kind of smudge it all in. And then what I do is I use the charcoal stick and I just fill in. I don't really worry about any of the pencil marks. I just fill in as black as I can. And then once it's filled in as black as I can get it, I turn the charcoal stick sideways. So I'm holding it from the middle and kind of pinching it. And then I just rub back and forth the wide part of the charcoal all over the area that I just filled in, and that kind of flattens it out. It'll flatten it out and smooth out some of that pencil line texture. And it's not perfect. You're never really going to be able to get perfect when you want something super black, because you're really digging in the charcoal into the paper, so it's of course going to leave pencil marks. But you can get it a lot better by kind of flattening it out by turning your charcoal stick sideways and then trying to smooth it. You don't have to really draw it in and press hard. You can just kind of lightly go over it, and it'll just flatten out a lot of the high spots, and it'll make it look like 70% better from what it was. So I hope that made sense. But if you're just using a regular pencil, I'm not too sure if turning your regular pencil sideways and then trying to flatten it out, I don't know if that will work as well. You'd kind of have to try it and see. But if you're using an actual charcoal stick, it seems to work well for me. And so with this drawing, what I'm doing right now is I'm just trying to fill in, get the shading right, get where the shadows are. And what I used actually quite a bit in this is using Q-tips. And I'll dip it into my charcoal powder, and I'll just kind of dab it in the certain areas that I need. So if it's like a little round area that I need darker, I can just dip my Q-tip in the charcoal powder and then dab it on, make a little dark circle. Or I just use it to blend in some darker areas, because I find if you use your paintbrush in some of the really darker areas, it'll actually remove too much charcoal and actually lighten the area. So sometimes using a paintbrush doesn't work if it's too dark. Using a Q-tip might work a little bit better. And one of the most important tools that I have is my mono eraser right here. I use it so much for everything. I would highly recommend, if you can, definitely get one. It just makes the job so much easier to pull out little fine details, whether it's you're doing hair, or like this, you're doing texture on rock, or you're doing texture on skin. It doesn't really matter. You can use it in so many different ways and for so many different things. I would definitely recommend getting one. It just helps so much. So like I said earlier, I feel like I'm kind of running out of things to say, so I'm gonna let this play out a little bit, and then I'll come back a little bit later. Um, but one thing I did notice, I don't know if somebody is gonna point it out or not, but the rock that's right below that I'm working on, the little one, I don't really like how it looks, and then I'm not sure if it's in this video or the next one. I kind of fix it a little bit, but I just find it looks kind of off, and that's something that you can do. Is even though it looks like that in the picture, I just find it doesn't help the composition too much, so I do change it later on before the final drawing. And here we are, we're really on the home stretch now. I can't believe how fast this drawing has gone by with all these parts, but feels like it's gone by fast, but it's actually been quite a while. I think we're sitting at around 45 hours here at this point, so it's a good amount of time for a drawing. I think it's about a 50-hour drawing, so I'm definitely happy to have it done, and then I can start working on something else. And honestly, I wasn't too sure if I was gonna like the composition and the overall idea I had, but in the end, like as it's getting closer towards the end, I can kind of see it all come together, and I'm like, oh, it wasn't that bad of an idea, and it wasn't that bad of a composition. So overall, I'm pretty happy with it, but you'll see it completely finished in the next part, and I should have that part out maybe a few days after this one is posted, so you won't have to wait too long for it. And yeah, so thank you all for watching, and thanks for being part of the series. I'll see you on the final part soon. Thank you.